was serious about fixing this issue, and I wish I didn't have so much on my plate right now, I would build a simplified berry world that just has the ability to have up to 4 foods. That's exactly what we need and nothing else, and doesn't do any of the fancy trickery that berry world does. What's weird is that I don't get problems when I run this. All the other stuff I'm doing is single agent evaluation. All the other use cases are single evaluation. And I think this is the only thing I can think of, is that it's a multi-agent evaluation is somewhere in that code, which is, good God, I don't want to even
touch it. Yeah.
Trying to debug it. That I have a problem in there. I'm doing something stupid in cleanup, and I'm deleting an object I shouldn't delete, or I'm writing out of range. All it takes is not allocating enough space in your vector. You're just off by 1, and then you push something. You address something out of range, and you've got a problem.
Absolutely.
So berry world is not that hard to rewrite. It wouldn't take that long. It's a day or two to do it. I just can't do it until at least next week. So that puts us in because I don't even want to look at results. I have results. I don't even look at them, because it's sort of like, again, if worst case scenario, they're garbage.
Okay, so you're saying, all right, because at some point I was going to write a simplified version of Berry World. This is not the time to do that, right? Because this is like a buggy thing. If
you want to take a pass at it, it's just writing a new world. It's a little bit more. So the simplest case for a made world is the world loads in a single agent. The world evaluates one agent at a time. You just have to deal with the one agent. You don't have to deal with anything else.
Cliff, wait, I just got an idea. Should we try that? Like, should we try running this with, because you think if it's in the group evaluation loop, if we knock that back down to, 100 or 10, is that?
Well, what we could do is turn it to solo evaluation, which will not provide us with any results, but if we don't get any faults,
right? That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Right. Then we would have a higher confidence. I would just turn off the group evaluation, or set the group size back to 1, or whatever it is that I have to do.
Yeah.
The other
thing I was gonna say is, like, a week or 2 might not be the worst thing, because I did have that meeting with Mike, and to his credit, like, he basically just said this. He was like, I got this machine. I was really hoping to do cultural evolution with it. I could tell he was, like, frustrated that, we haven't done the cultural evolution thing, but he was like, I'll send it to you. And, if you decide, he's like, if you're not going to do cultural, he's like, I just don't want to hear about it anymore. He's like, I just don't want to hear about it anymore. And I was like, it was.
This is the wrong conversation. What experiment does he, or what hypothesis?
Well, here's what I was going to say is, like, I feel like now I actually feel like a lot better about it, because now I feel like, I just need to deliver on it at some point between now and then. But it's like, he's sending me the machine, and now I feel like we can do whatever we want. Like, because I got your frustration.
Did you have a conversation with him about, like, what do you like? What do you like?
Yeah, I did. I was
saying, somebody's like, I'm really interested in nuclear chemistry, or nuclear physics, and you're like, okay, what do you want to do with it? What do you want to know about it?
Right.
And, like, I'm just interested in nuclear physics. And you're like, look, do you want to build a reactor? Do you want to build a bomb? Do you want to know about how radiation affects organisms? Do you want to know about how radiation affects mutation rates? Do you want to know about, how minerals decay breaks down the strength of the, or or radiation embrittlement on materials. Like, what do you want to know?
I 100% agree.
Just
So
give me like a region, because what you're basically, the size of the discipline is like I'm interested in trees.
right.
What do you want to know about trees? Like, that's a really big topic. Like, are you interested in the biology side? Are you interested in the structure? Are you interested in the commercial application? Are you interested in using them as a construction material? Like, what do you want to do with trees? I don't know what you want.
No, 100%. So I think now I'm like, so this is better, right? We don't have to do that song and dance anymore. I can literally be like, oh, I think this cooking thing or whatever is cool. Boom, that's the project now. What's the hypothesis? I said I like the idea of doing an adaptation chance and history paper to get started. Mike said that would be fine. What I basically said was like, we've got to find a middle path, right? And I get that from Mike's situation. He like wants to build a thing, can't quite nail down a hypothesis, but really wants to do this thing that's kind of unworkable from our side. And I'm like, look, this is a middle path. We know how to write.
If I mean, you're in his lab, right?
Right.
So I'm in a totally different place, but for me, it's like I'm not there. If we were physically located in the same place and we could meet regularly, that would be fine. But like, even when we were meeting about the cultural evolution stuff, he wasn't showing up to the meetings.
Right.
And then I was talking, what was it, Maria?
Yeah.
And it was like pulling teeth there. It was like, well, what do you want?
Right.
And all I got from her was, well, I wanted to have these additional features. And I'm like, right, okay, but what's the hypothesis? I don't know, but it has to have these features. Like, why? What are those features going to be testing? I don't know, but I think they're important. Well, do you think they're important in what context? Towards what hypothesis?
Yeah. And
it's like saying the car has to have, has to have four-wheel drive. Why? Because you need the extra torque, because you're going to take it off road, because you're afraid of the zombie apocalypse. Like, what is it that you think you're going to need four-wheel drive for? Because as far as I can tell, this is a city car. What do we need it for?
Right. Yeah, no. So I think so. I'm kind of so I think we're like good. Like I think the results of that conversation was, one, I got the machine released, right? That was goal number one. Mike, I need my fucking machine, right? Yeah. So I got the machine released, and then the other thing is, now we don't have to keep doing this song and dance with Maria and Mike, right? So we can take our time. And I was just gonna say, I like the idea of doing the thing you proposed, and making an adaptation chance and history paper about it. And Mike was basically like, fine, that would be fine, that would be great. And I'm like, awesome, good, see you later. Right? So
okay. I mean, this seems very passive aggressive to me.
The
frustration I have is that, like, this shouldn't be passive aggressive. It is perfectly reasonable to ask your employer, what do you want me to do? And like, if the employer gets to the state where they're like, look, you should know at this point.
Right.
Like,
no, I don't. I have no idea.
And the difference is, like, if this was a job, you would just quit. But since it's a postdoc, you're like, you're already paying me. So you actually want to, like, do all the paperwork to stop paying me? I'm just gonna fucking get paid. Like, you might as well make use of me.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like this, because I was with you, but I feel like this is a less frustrating path for me, right? I don't feel like I'm caught in the middle anymore. I'm just like, cool. When I get chance, I'll build a thing. But I was just saying, like, I still think it's gonna be like at least a week or two probably before I get the machine and get it all set up. So if we can get Barry World or whatever rewritten time, that would be fine. And I think you should probably do it, right? Because that way we know that I'm not doing something else stupid here. Like, because this is, because I think there's a difference.
Here's what I'll give you. I will do it. I'll do it next week. It's not going to take that long.
Okay.
But my issue is I have to just do it. I'm going to do it really, really basic.
Right.
I'm working on 3 papers for A-Life right now.
No, I totally understand. This is craziness. Like, this is not a good time for us
to
have
this
type
I have to do all the coding for. One of them I should try very hard to do some development on, but I can probably fake it because I'm just going to be a middle author on that one. But the other 2 is like I'm writing code right now. I'm hacking my gene regulatory network code to add the notion of space. It's a whole involved thing. So yeah, I kind of want to get back to that before I lose track of what I'm.
No, 100%. I don't mind
but,
at all.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just this thing is just, but this is like an impossible problem because, so what's supposed to happen, what is expected to be happening is that we have a memory leak, right? We have a write out of access or we have a memory leak. So a memory leak would be something is not being cleaned up correctly. I'm not sure exactly how that would happen because I'm only using shared pointers. Also, we're not getting an out of memory error, which would be a memory leak would indicate would be indicated by an out of memory error. And we're not getting an out of memory error. We're getting a bus error. And the bus error is a less specific bug that generally, I mean, it's a bus error seg fault as opposed to just a seg fault. Usually just a seg fault is easy. It's a it's a read out of range is usually what it is. Sometimes a write out of range, it'll detect it. But this bus error, what it's meaning is somehow I'm writing out of range and it's not being detected. And I'm guessing, and it's actually destroying an object. The thing is, the debugger should have caught this, right? So what we actually ran was a sanitizer.
Right.
And the sanitizer makes it run like at like 1/5 the speed, and it's checking everything. It's like it basically is like, this is how much space you've allocated. Are you allocating out?
Right. It's checking your values, your variables, everything.
I actually had a bad thing. That was right,
accessing. The bad seed. Like you're like, I know the seed that's failing.
Well, no, not that, I actually I had an error in the code where I was reading. I stupidly forgot to put in the conditional that says if the female preference is 0, then just pick any male.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't leave that in. And since what we do is the female preference -1, which gets the index into which food the male wants, right? Because the foods are 0 indexed, but the preferences are 1 indexed.
Yeah.
That meant that I was accessing the male preference -1, and this sanitizer caught that. So I know it was working, right? I even have evidence that the thing was working, and I fixed that problem.
Right.
And then it was done. Okay, I forgot a step. Great. And then I ran it, and no problems. And then I submitted on the HPCC, and no problems, which also indicates that when it's running with the debug mode, the problem doesn't show up. And I've had this happen before because there's a certain flow through the code that you have to hit in order to get the bug to happen.
Yes. That's
repeatable. But if you're running it in debug mode, well, then memory isn't being used in exactly the same way. And then it's suddenly potentially not repeatable.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't fall in the same state.
And that's what was driving me crazy.
It may not fall into the state at all because the debugger is running.
Yes.
And so I've had this before, and it's one of the reasons why I tend to avoid
debugging. Yes.
Because every time I've had a serious problem that I can't identify within an hour or two, the debugger did nothing for me.
So you're sort of saying like when the problem's like a regular bad line of code or something like that, you're normally going to be able to find it so quick just poking around. You don't.
I put in a bunch of C outs and
and then you're done. I'm the same way.
On the inside, it takes me 10 minutes to find it, and the outside, it takes me 2 hours.
100%. And then
but
configuring the debugger will take an hour and a half. To start.
Right. I mean, the problem I have is remembering how to use the debugger every time takes me takes me hours. So this time, finally, it's like, all right, well, this problem's really beating me up. So Jory helped me remember how to use the debugger, and then had to help me to get it to run on the HPCC. We had to jump through a whole bunch of hoops for that. And yeah, lo and behold, screw you.
Yeah. So yeah. That's the problem I was having too. Was I ran it locally on HPC, it ran fine. I'm not gonna be able to fix this because I can't track down the damn error. So it sounds like option. All right, here's the other thing is. We tried the group evaluation. Is there any chance, right? Because let's say the population size is 1,000, and then the group evaluation size is 1,000. Is there any chance that there's an issue caused if the population size drops? Like all of a sudden, let's say there's actually 850 organisms.
That
it won't drop because we actually replace every single organism every single time. So we always maintain a fixed population size.
Yep, there's no way that can happen.
It does that one, that's, actually, it won't even, it keeps running until it successfully replaces every individual in the population, right?
That's what the optimizer does.
The way the optimizer does is like always, it guarantees we have a population size.
The population is empty, make me another population size individuals.
Yeah.
But it's not replacing them. It's just making a whole new population.
Got you.
Technically, it's sticking population-sized new individuals on the end of the population. Then it records a bunch of information about the old guys
and puts them on a kill list. Yeah.
And everybody's on the kill list, and if we were not maintaining population size, it would crash.
100%. All right, that makes a lot of sense. So then it's not the issue of the population size dropping. If it's an evaluation thing, it's literally something when it has to evaluate that many organisms at once.
And again, I think it has to do with. I'm just deploying this now with
the smaller group evaluation size.
Yeah, I set it to 1, which is going to basically do nothing, right? It's going to do something, but it's not going to do anything very meaningful. Because the food balance thing, right? The benefit of having red eaters and blue eaters only comes into play if they're both in the world at the same time. Absolutely. You only have one individual, although with the size of the world, we could get it that there are individuals who just eat red and there are other individuals who just eat blue or whatever. And that's fine.
Yeah.
So I mean, we may actually even get a result with this. It's just if it's here and if it's in Berry World, like I don't care. Like I said, I'm just gonna write a new Berry World that assumes everybody's evaluated together. It doesn't do any of the bullshit. It's just every time you add an extra wrinkle,
right.
It's more support. It's more shit that can go wrong. It's more little fucking nooks and crannies that you're not taking care of.
But you've been feeling like Berry World's overbuilt for a while.
Well,
you've just been tacking stuff onto it over there.
No, I mean, I've stopped. I haven't written anything new for Berry World in 2 or 3 years, but it is a hot mess. I mean, it was just feature creep. So feature creep is just the
you keep adding stuff and then
you just keep adding, and usually feature creep is like in a commercial setting. People will talk about the issue where the client just keeps adding more stuff, and especially once you've started development, it's really problematic. It's really bad if the client keeps adding more stuff once you started development, because then you can't have a holistic design.
It's a crossword puzzle problem.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's a crossword, except the crossword wasn't designed initially, right? So now you have to add new words to the crossword puzzle, but you can't change anything that's already there.
Yes. It's damn near impossible for something not to go wrong in that situation.
So on that, by the way, there is a counter to the crossword puzzle, which people will pull up inevitably because it's just a variation on an argument they already make. And the problem with the crossword puzzle is, so if all the pieces fit together so well, then why? How do you explain that? Checkmate, atheist.
Wait, say that again?
It basically, right? We're saying there's a crossword puzzle, and as I get more and more things filled in the crossword puzzle, it's more and more. I become more and more confident that I have it right.
Right.
But then the question says, well, who made the crossword puzzle that everything fits together so perfectly?
Yeah, exactly. And that's literally been the Christian argument for so long, right? It's like the
answer is I don't know. The answer is I don't know, but I'm just studying the crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
Don't ask me where it came from.
Yeah, and there's also no evidence.
That's a later problem.
You're also assuming someone wrote the crossword puzzle.
Yeah.
This is interesting. All right, so that's Berry World. That's cultural evolution. I mean, I think we're good to go. Probably. Otherwise, I won't keep you because I know that we're not going to go over the results or whatever. Is there anything else? And then also, I was going to ask you, do you want to just maybe do another fun stream on Monday? Because you said you're going to work on some other stuff, and so maybe we'll plan.
That would be fine.
So Monday, I'll find something silly for us to look over, just so we have a fun stream, and then we'll just take it from there, check in, see where you're at.
Yeah. That's fine. That's fine. It takes a little pressure off.
Yeah. All right, cool. Cliff, I appreciate you. Take your time and let me know if there's anything. And I think this is a good course of action. And also, I'm being totally selfish here, but maybe you writing a simplified Barry World will actually help me down the road. Because then when I write my first one, I'll be able to compare it to your simplified Barry World rather than.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think, I also, we can go over the here. Let me. I'll give you.
Yeah,
I
you're
will
fine.
show you this. Actually, let me do. Sorry, I'm getting used to using tabs on Windows, using tabs, and it's okay, but it kind of sucks because it doesn't integrate everything really well. Particularly like if you have Slack open on one window and like you get a notification or if it's open on one desktop, you get a notification. If you click on it, then it takes you to that desktop rather than pulling it to your current desktop, which I guess maybe that's what you'd want, but like it's very jarring. And so like I had Gather on the wrong desktop. So I'm like, I got to move it over to the right desktop. It's just pain. All right.
Absolutely.
So, all right, I'm going to share this. So this is the code for the 4 type. This is called 4 types optimizer. It's not very creative. Sorry. So, I don't need this. I don't need this. Oh, what am I looking? Oh, okay. This is at H. Okay. All right. That's fine. How do I have required genomes? Genomes. Oh, that's a little weird. Oh, I see. Okay. I see what I did. Okay. Right. Okay. So here it is in the nutshell. Oh, this is abstract optimizer. I don't know that. All right.
Oh, wait. Are you sharing your screen? You are sharing your screen. Boom. That's my bad.
Yes.
Here we go. All right. I can see it.
All right. So here,
also, let me change the view just so it's easier for the audience. Boom.
Do we have an audience? Are we live?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've been on.
Oh, geez. All right.
Sorry. I should have should have said something. All right. But yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, so this is the entire .h file now. So all I have is the parameters are the optimized value, which is, we always have that. That's what they're trying to get. Shape mate, PL, shape power, lex size, tournament size. And then these are just the localized variables, and there's select parent and 4 type optimizer and the optimize function. And that's it. And then over here.
So like there's only 4 food types in this?
There's
always 4. Well, it assumes there's always 4 food types.
It assumes, this is built for the 4, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
Okay, got you.
But it's just the only parameters are shape mate. It's like shape mating on or off. What's the power of the shape mating? What's the lex size?
Right.
Performance?
Absolutely.
That's it. Everything else is gone.
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect.
So now I'm like, here's, localize the parameters, get my functions. I'm going to write optimize value out to disk. That's it. Select parent is the same function. I didn't change anything. And then this is the whole function. So it's like a quarter the size. So basically, food scores. So food scores, rather than having this be a vector, food scores is just population size times 4, fill it with zeros. So that means if there's a population size 100, there's going to be 400 things in this. 0, 1, 2, 3 are the first agent's food scores. Then 4, 5, 6, 7 are the second agent's food scores.
Got you.
Okay. Then preferences this is just, this is pop size, and then I fill it with zeros. Shapes, pop size, fill it with zeros. Pref count So these are the counts. This is the same thing we did before. There are 5 preferences, 0, and the 4 foods. And then the shape counts. This is that thing that we use to do the, are you very
Yes,
round?
where are you at in
Are
the
you
distribution?
yeah. Are you very concave or you're very round? Right.
It's like the
and
bins.
Yeah. And then we had scores and then average score. And then this is the standard list. So we insert everyone in the kill list. We go to the genome, we get the preference, we get the shape, we get the optimized value. We do the standard stuff with the score and the average score and the min and max score. Then for this, I just said food names is food 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we say if that food exists, then this is the indexing system. So food scores I times 4 plus J. So I is which individual we are in the population from up here. That's the I. And then J is which food are we currently on. And the food name is coming from here. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3. And we just say if it exists, then we put it here. Otherwise, it's going to be 0.
Yeah. And you think that's cleaner than the vectors?
It's faster. We don't have to do a double access. So we're only accessing.
Okay.
Then the preferences. This is the same thing. I didn't change anything. This is the same thing. I didn't change anything. All right. So then I added a thing called fail count, which is actually really nice because it tells us how many times the shape mating failed.
Oh,
which we weren't tracking that. It was really easy to track.
Yeah, because if I went to my optimizer, it would just tell me, picking 93, picking 93 again, picking 90. So I had it printing out all this. But yeah, that's easy. Yep. That's nice and easy.
Well, it's nice because you can plot it and you can see if the fail count goes down, that means that they're getting more diversification.
Oh, yeah.
So we can actually have that as a stat. We can plot at the beginning. It's like 50% of, and then or half of all matings fail, right? So if we need a population of 100, we're going to have like 100 fails.
Right.
So then we get mom, we get dad, we get the mom's preference. If the mom's preference is greater than 0, then we have to make a lec. So we get new dad. And then I don't make the lec and then pull it. I just say, get the new dad. If the food scores of the new dad, again, times 4 plus the mom preference minus 1. So new dad is the dad's ID. Times 4 gets us to the position in the vector for that dad. And then the mom's preference is the food.
Right. Minus 1 so that it's the proper food score. Yeah, it's like
this is the I plus J.
Yes.
From up here. It's the same. This
100%. Yeah.
Wherever the fuck it is. This I plus J. It's the same. It's I times 4 plus J. It's new dad times 4 plus mom's preference minus 1 is J.
Right. And the reason it's minus 1 so people understand is that you have to offset by 1. That's
right, because the mom's preference could be 0, which means she has a random preference.
Right.
And if it was random, then we wouldn't have come in here because it would have failed here. And at that point, we just take whatever the first dad is.
Right.
Because good enough, right? There's no point in
right. So if the mom's preference is 1 or 2, then we need the dad's food score for the one below it. Yeah. So
and then we replace the dad. And then if shape mating, we get the repro chance. If the repro chance, then we make the offspring, make fixated offspring from the parents. Otherwise, we decrement I by 1 to basically say that this loop we're not going to be done. Right. So we don't finish prematurely. We add 1 to the fail count to say, hey, we failed to reproduce. And then if not shape mating, so if it just works, then we just produce the offspring. We don't have to worry about it. And then fail count will always be 0, by the way, because we're never going to hit this. And then we set everybody's number of offspring, and then we now here is where we write to the shape report file,
right?
And that's the update the fail count, the preference random, preference 1, yada yada yada. So this is like the counts of how many of everything, and then we just print our status, and then we're done. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, and the report string that helps us keep track of the distribution and see how the population is moving towards the extremes or not.
Right.
Yeah. Just because ultimately, gang, we're hoping they'll push towards the extremes, towards -1 and 1.
Well, they do. We know they do.
Yeah, they do.
So, I mean, there's another thing we could do, which is we could simply set. I mean, I like that they do behavior and they have to have a brain and all this stuff. We could actually just read another value, or we could read a few more values, which are their colors, and we could do the whole thing in here and just have an empty world. The advantage of that, it would run lightning fast, but we wouldn't have an actual cognitive substrate developing.
Because it'd just be a genomic thing.
Yes. In fact, we could write a world that just reads the genome, sucks out a few values, and there's not even a brain. It's just like, here you go. And that way they don't know where these food colors come from. They just know that they have them.
Yeah. Now I'm always like, I like everything being a brain, right? Just because it's.
Well, it makes the evolutionary process a lot more interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
It might be worth. I mean, when I'm writing the world, I can put in a switch that says, "Don't actually do the thing. Do something a lot simpler," and then that way we, it just like gives everybody a score of 1, and it just gives them their food counts, and then that way we can test that in isolation from the scores. So that would be a nice thing about writing a world where we know that we're going to use it like this.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely with it as a point of comparison, but I love brains, right? Plus, because you gotta evolve to play the game, little guy. You got to.
Well, I mean, remember that paper I did for A-Life back a few years ago.
The sexual selection one.
Yeah, the Sexy Sons paper. That one was purely genomic.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah, no brains. I had a genome with 100 sites, and each site could be either nothing or, trait 1, trait 2, trait 3, trait 4. And then there was one site in the genome that was the sex and one site that was the preference.
Right.
And I put one of them in the middle of the genome. I put one all the way at the end so that crossover would likely, let them travel separately.
Right.
And that was it. That was that whole system.
Yeah, and this would be something similar where they just pull another number from their.
I would just have them pull 4 values out of their genome and like between 0 and 100, and those would be their 4 food colors.
And they automatically give them one for each of them. Yeah.
And that way the same. We could just use the same optimizer. The optimizer doesn't know that they're not playing the game. It would just set everyone's score to 1. Right. So they're not playing a game. Everyone is equal in terms of getting selected for the tournament selection. In fact, we could just set the tournament size to 1.
Oh, that's what getting rid of the score does. It just makes it random. Everybody has the same score, and then we just do shapes and colors in the optimizer. That makes sense.
Right, and then it would be, if you get the right shapes, then you're going to be more likely to produce. Right. If you get the right shapes, you're going to be more likely to produce offspring. So your fitness will be dependent on picking individuals whose shapes are properly anti-correlated to your own.
Right.
And as it happens, you can set your color genetically, but that's the only thing you can communicate to other agents is your color. And so do they improve their shape mating by communicating through their genomically determined color?
Yeah, or do they all just evolve the highest value of all the colors?
Well, if they do that, then they're not going to show up as being variant. So there's one thing I was thinking about in here, that right now what we do, we take the individual with the highest value in the color the female prefers. What we might want to do is take the individual with the highest ratio.
Of score to color?
Yeah, so like right now we're saying who has the highest red, but what we could be asking is who has the highest ratio of red to everything else.
Right, because that would make you have to stay relative. Like you couldn't just fix all the colors. You couldn't just be
right. If you made everything, you would be purple.
You'd be
everything would be purple.
You'd be
you would
brown.
not
But everybody hates you. Yeah, you're gross.
Or you're good for pick random or whatever. I mean, we could also have pick mud, right? If you're lowest in everything, then she likes you too.
Yeah, The other
But
thing is,
but that would be a real sexy sun trait because it's basically saying if you don't eat any food, then you're sexy.
it would also then tell you probably that the problem we've been having is in Berry World.
Well, I mean, if we build this new Berry World, if I build this new Berry World and the problem goes away, then the problem's not Berry World. In fact, if the thing I just started continues to run and nothing crashes, then it's not Berry.
It's not Berry World.
Then it's. I mean, then it is Berry World, right? If it's,
okay.
Then it's. All right, so it's been running 17 minutes. 25, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 0. So all of C7, 25 replicas of C7 are still running after 17 minutes. And C star / top.csv. And they're up to, let's see, and 1. Yeah, okay, and they're up to like, one of these looked like it might have failed. Hold on a second. Just a second. No, everybody. Oh, okay, these guys. What are these guys? C1, blah, blah, blah. What is your deal? Why are you only up to there? All right. CSV. I wonder if this just runs slow. That'd be weird. I have that on C1. C1 and C0 seem to just run really slow. And it's just really weird. 1025. 690. Oh, this is really weird. What the fuck? All right, so I changed. Oh, fuck. This makes no sense. All right, so I changed the group size to 1. And now everything's running except for C0 and C1, and all of them have failed.
All of C0 and C1 failed?
Yes.
I don't even know what that means. That's 2 food types.
C1 is one
2 food types. No, it's one because we did 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's 1 food type, shape mating on and off. Weird.
All right, I'm done. I'm gonna go now. Work on my real job. This is interesting because it's another data point. I mean, look, the best case scenario, I actually figure out what the hell is going on. That would be optimal. But barring that, I'll rewrite this thing. But now I have another data point, and having the data point is always a good thing.
And we have a contingency plan, which is we can actually run all this inside the optimizer. I totally hadn't thought about that. And it at least, if this other stuff doesn't work, that gives us something to start with that we can definitely use. We're not, nothing about the way we conceptualize this project obligates us to use brains and world and stuff like that. It'd be great just because that help us get going with later stuff, but you know, hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Cool, Cliff. Thanks so much. I still got yeah, I'm gonna get back into the office myself. Yeah. So I'll find something fun for us to do Monday. Some
Okay.
sciencey counter apologetics or something.
You know what you could do in the interim
Sure.
is, I don't know how far you got on it. We are going to have to lit review whatever gets us into this shape mating thing.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that actually.
So there's there's the mating types pre-anisogamy.
Yes.
I don't know what else. That's where I would start to look.
There, I think, and sympatric speciation is still a big thing, right? And sort of the interaction of those two things.
For this problem, two niches, two species. That's, I mean, the hypothesis that sex can provide an alternative path to speciation, I think, may actually, if you want to chase that down and see if anyone said that.
Right.
Right? That was
yeah, right.
Title. When I first told him about this idea, that was his suggested title. He said,
who's this, Charles?
The development of mating types may provide an unexpected alternative to speciation. And I was like, damn, that's a you get rid of the word may, right? Right.
Yeah.
But you just say, I mean, he didn't say may, I think I added that because
sure.
I'm always hedging it. But it's just like, it's the development of mating type provides an alternative, to
because that's kind of the deal where they start selecting for the same color, right? But different types.
But if they select for the same color, that would be speciation. If they start selecting for the opposite color,
yeah,
that's when you get mating types.
Right.
Like, if they get the same color, then they would just diverge genetically until they couldn't mate anymore.
Right.
And so like if they go for the same color, if they go for the opposite color and they have something like shape mating, then they can instantiate mating types. And I don't know that anyone has actually gone down the road, because I don't know if it's occurred to people that this is a pathway to get. It's just assuming that you already have sexual reproduction,
right?
But you don't have any mating types,
right?
Yeah, but you're in a multi-niche environment. How does that affect things, right? And can that be the progenitor to get you to mating types, right? And then eventually sexes.
Yeah, and this might actually relate to some stuff I was originally wanting to do also with adaptive radiations, right? Because the idea with that was, all right, so it's always like, the idea is nature plays this trick where if you look at the form of the birds or whatever, you would assume, the grass specialist descended from a grass specialist, and the bush specialist descended from a bush specialist. But or the fish that swims at the top and the fish that swims at the bottom, you assume they have ancestors the same. But it turns out they all came from the same thing, right? That repeatedly diverged and split into these niches. And so Rich and I always had two ways to approach this. The first one was, they have the same environment that they came from. And then what we did for my dissertation basically was you then put them in environments where effectively only one niche is available. Mm-hmm. And then we're looking at adaptation, chance, and history from there. But Rich was always saying it'd be real sexy if we could get this going where multiple habitats are available to them. And I didn't realize that Berry World might give us a simplified way to do that. Like in Avita, it just gets gross.
Imagine Berry World, except that all the red food is on the north half of the world and all the blue food is on the south half.
That's like what exactly? That's kind of what I was thinking of, right? And this actually gets really interesting. I hadn't thought about that angle, but I'm gonna spend some more time doing that actually.
The other thing is, imagine Berry World where when you eat a food, the replacement of the food is not random, but it's the other food. It's a specific replacement. So if you could identify that somebody else is like a red eater and you're a blue eater, you can just follow them around.
Yes. Yes. And this
So,
is actually,
I mean,
and this is almost like scavenger type shit that you get into after a while, or,
well, and I
or
mean,
secondary
it's just,
consumers and all of this type of stuff.
right. The thing is, you can't imagine that like lemurs or something are going to have like a completely different food source, right? Like how would that occur that like, you know, the male lemurs eat bananas and the female lemurs eat apples? Like, how would that happen?
Right.
But you could imagine some bacteria where one bacteria, you know, one sex prefers one type of, you know, whatever, sucrose, and another one likes citrate, right? Like that you could imagine.
And you also can have sex dependent diets. Like that's actually really
That's what,
yeah, because you know you have a lot of species where females are basically just optimizing for calories and balance and resources to develop babies, right? But the males are like showy and flashy, so they're going out looking for stuff that's going to give them bright coloration, and it leads to serious differences in their diet, right?
Well,
and what they get out of other foods, yeah.
So anyway, I mean,
but yeah, it's interesting. We got some shit.
We're at a point where
we could look
it
into
would be nice to get some literature backing this up, so we can ask the right questions.
Yeah, and turns out
I don't want to build a system, and then when we go to do a lit review, we're like, oh shit, this is all known.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
that's it. I mean, that's fun and all, but it's fun. It was cool early on when I would write something. Like at one point, I literally went to Charles and I was like, so there's this thing where I think that genes are the things being selected for and not individuals. Because if a gene makes itself so it's going to be, you know, if a gene is going to do something so that it will be propagated, as long as it doesn't kill the host organism, it doesn't really care like what else is happening. And Charles is like, go read it. I think actually he said, oh, you're there. Go read The Selfish Gene. I basically just got there, right? I just got to Selfish Gene, and I was like, yeah. So it's kind of like this. I don't think I stated it that cogently,
right.
But he was just like, oh, you're there. Okay, yeah, that's good. You're actually, yeah. It's like you're doing good. I was like, you know, I've been looking at this stuff for like a year, and okay, yep, there we go. So I got Selfish Gene, and I was like, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yes. Well, despite what everybody says about me, despite what the creationists imply, I can in fact read. I'm always making that complaint that, you know, they treat us like we can't read when we talk about the Bible and, you know, some of these philosophical arguments.
Why would I read your Bible? Every time I've tried to check one of these things out, it's always a deep hole. You waste a whole bunch of time and you get to it's been debunked, or it's metaphysics and it's garbage.
Metaphysics is garbage. You already know. All right, sweet. Cliff, thanks so much. So I'll find something fun for Monday, and I'll see you then. Thanks so much, man.
All right, later.
All right, have a good weekend and all that. All right, later on. All right, guys. So look, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go back to where we were, which is the VIP gather for mods and patrons. I want to send a special shout out to AR and Lewis, my early patrons here. We have a VIP gather just for patrons and mods, and we had our first movie night last night. We watched End of Watch. It was actually super fun. Had a really great time. But yeah, I love this gather. Some of you haven't seen the upstairs. I'm just showing you the upstairs real quick. It's got these cool little bedrooms. This is the one I slept in this one last night. One thing that frustrated me upstairs was that you can't go into this room. But I fixed it. I removed the impassable tile, and so I just modified this, and boom, I got an extra room. I got an extra room. I was so proud of myself last night when I figured this out. I was like, I can change it because literally when you default this map, you cannot, you can't get in here, and it was really bothering me. But yeah, I love this the way this one's set up. It's really, really fun. It's got multiple levels, got a lot of sounds to it. So this is very, very special gather. Table over here. So you guys can always come in here, explore, hang out, have some fun. Whoop. Got a dining room upstairs, got one down here. All right, there's my Myronbot screen. So now I'm in the area where, oh Lord, I gotta mute Myronbot real quick. All right, there we go. Here's the kitchen. Roaring fireplace, a little barrel room. And then there's games everywhere. There's Tetris here. This is the stage. Go do the stream. There's Peanut. Oh, UC Love is streaming. Hey, UC Love. Told you, man. Everybody can stream and gather. UC Love's out here streaming. Nice. I love that. I can go back to carousel. But yeah, I really like Gather's games. Here's a Colonist.io, and then we added this one. So we've added board games. A lot of you guys haven't really seen all this stuff in Gather, but you can come over here. We mostly added this so people could play chess. You can play chess here. It's actually really nice. But yeah, you can play checkers and set, Yahtzee. They have their own Uno, although we don't use that one. Cribbage, Battleship, Connect 4, a whole bunch of games there. What else we got? We love this dice. We roll dice. You could play hood dice. You could play street dice, but these dice are really nice. You know, they have all the different sided dice there. You can play dice games. We like to throw dice, play street dice, like we on the corner, gamble pocket change. You know, that's part of the idea is that Gather also makes your pocket change come to life. Because you could be out here gambling. Gamble for real money too if you want. But yeah, we have Uno. We added Uno. Here's the poker table for all you people that still, for all you lazy people that just really don't know cards and haven't yet figured out that Pinochle is 1,000,000 times more fun than poker. Here's your little poker. We're going to have to get our poker nights going. Apparently there's a need in our community for bigot-free poker nights. So we're going to work on that. But yeah, we have a lot of fun. And then this is where we've got our Pinochle table. You can play other games at World of Cards too. You can play 29, Euchre, Gin Rummy, Hearts, Spades, but you know, we get busy with the Pinochle. All right. We get busy with that Pinochle, baby. That's how we get down in here. All right. So look, I'm gonna stream for a little bit. And then we're going to hang out in the office. We're going to hang out here in this gather. And then I'll be back probably after my meeting at 5 to do a stream tonight. So for right now, I do want to show y'all a couple of things. So let's go ahead and just before I go, we're going to do a little Arm Brown and chill. And then, like I said, we'll come back later. But yeah, if you're a mod or a patron, come link up with us in the VIP gather. We've been having a lot of fun there.
Hey guys, it's your boy CK Looney. Let's smash that mic.
Let's smash that mic button.
Oh, I got me a little
Smash that like
right
button, gang.
CK Louie.
Well, guys, today we're gonna jump on what I call the click bandwagon
Little ass.
and take a look at this Mr. Beast story. Mr. Beast seems like a nice enough. And this video.
We don't play bridge. I'm sure there's online bridge apps, but I'm a pinochle guy. You can always just link up with people and gather, and if you find a website where there's a game, you can play it with them. Yeah, Carrie Ann. So we have bridge is on the Trickster Cards, maybe Carrie Ann has bridge. But Scrabble, we do. I think there's a gather game. I don't think we've played it much, but I think there is. Let me look at that.
Jesus!
If not, I'll find a Scrabble because my dad likes to play Scrabble too.
1,000 people's blindness.
Oh, God. Okay.
It's gonna be crazy.
Most of us see the world like this. Okay. But here's the thing, 200 million people see the world like this.
Right.
Okay. But
Yeah, so guys, you've probably seen people talking about this. You might have seen videos of people talking about this. And as someone who has recently had to go through the United States' health insurance marketplace, after going through all that crap, every one of which is a scam of some kind or another, I would have easily taken the Mr. Beast option. You scroll through the health insurance market. Oh, Mr. Beast. That just has his email. Mr. Blease, please help. Mr. Blease, please help.
I'm seeing people
Oh,
rag
hell yeah.
on.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Let's get this take.
Little ass.
Ooh, I gotta get this take. Everybody's chipping in their take on Mr. Beast. This, I gotta hear this one. 100K views. Here we go.
I'm seeing people rag on Hassan Piker.
Who?
Because he expressed some disdain over the circumstance around Mr. Beast and curing blindness and all that stuff. So I'll give you the quick gist, and then I want to show you what Hassan had to say. Because I somewhat agree with Hassan.
All right, they have down for a cross, which is they have crossword puzzles. Yeah, we'll look into Scrabble. It's a good idea.
On this one, and I think it's
whoa, wow, okay, Hassan Piker winning over the hearts and minds.
That's how it flows. That's
how it flows.
Wow, this is shocking. I guess Tim Pool, known internet lunatic, Tim Pool, he's I guess he's coming out for some kind of universal health care or something. What's going on here? And then you go 5 minutes into the video and he says this. Here we go.
I don't think we're cutting off people necessarily.
Yeah,
like if we
PFL's our
started from
game.
baseline, if we were just, we're not involved in this war, we're not spending money, and you get some frugal government that's like, guys, the budget is tight. We're not going to spend money on cataract surgeries if people can't afford it. I'm sorry, we just don't do that. We can't afford.
Yeah, Carrie Ann's learning by immersion. Exactly, Carrie Ann. You just gotta play a lot. Also, there's a website called Power Pinochle that we use for strategies. But yeah, I'll show you guys the Pinochle Lounge at some point. It's set up to be a Pinochle school to help you learn faster.
Afford it. I'd be like, well, who am I to tell my fellow countrymen to give their hard-earned dollars,
Right.
through the process of inflation or whatever, however the U.S. is doing it with the Federal Reserve, but just to give their buying power and their value to strangers, not to me.
Right.
You give your money as you see fit. I'm not the. I
Yeah,
don't.
that's kind of what we do. Yeah, I agree with this. The healthcare should be decommodified, but not really. I actually don't. I kind of agree here, but not at all, actually.
I grabbed 50
Jesus.
random people in a brand new Lamborghini. Everyone put your right hand on the car.
Oh, wow.
Whoever takes their hand off last gets the $300,000 car.
Oh, guys, I just want to announce, I am doing my own.
Because I'm trying to be doing YouTube as well.
I'm trying to also be doing YouTube as well.
So I gotta learn from the big dogs. Big dogs.
So I'm doing a competition. I'm doing a car giveaway, Mr. B style. It's a 1999 Toyota Camry LE. Everybody will have their hands on it. Okay, it's worth $1,200.
CK Louis.
The last to take their hands off it wins. Okay? It's got 4 doors.
Let's do this.
Okay.
How'd it go? Yeah? Are you excited?
Damn. How are people complaining about this?
Sorry.
Yeah. Take your time.
And look, here's the deal, y'all. The right wing hates the fact that through science and philanthropy, we can do what Jesus never did. Right? Like, I think that's I just made this connection, y'all, but fuck it. Let's do a little counter apologetics. Why not, right? That's their real problem here. Let's just be real clear about that. They're pissed off that between scientists, the people they love to shit on, and an actual, pretty decent rich dude who's like, yeah, you know what? People like content that makes them smile, right? Literally, they love to go to church every Sunday, right? And hear about Jesus healed the blind, and Jesus healed the leper, and Jesus turned the water into wine, and Jesus is so wonderful. Oh, yeah, but God don't do that shit no more. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, God just, God's more about, deciding who wins football games and who gets knocked out and who finds their car keys. He's just not. He's not into restoring sight to the blind these days. It's just not it's not Jesus's bag anymore. It's old parlor tricks to Jesus, all right. But due to the benefits of modern medicine and a rich dude who happened to figure out, like, I can make a really popular YouTube channel where, like, I get all this money thrown at me, and then I do really cool shit with it, and it turns out people like that. They like watching cats play piano. They really love watching cats play piano. It's a big thing. They like makeup tutorials. They like shooty things. With the sports ball things. They like the video game things with all the the $1 million Fortnite tournaments and fucking Rocket League and and it turns out people like to see other people's lives transformed. They like to see people helping people. People find that shit encouraging. They find that shit heartwarming. We got fucking pandemic. I got to say pandemic as many times as possible. Y'all know Joe Biden and all them about to declare COVID pandemic over and shit. They've been trying to declare I got to say pandemic as many times as possible in the next 30 days or whatever before everybody starts going, hey, Jay, you can't say that anymore. Okay, COVID's over. COVID's over. I can't breathe. COVID is over. It's over, Jay. Before that starts. All right. We got wars, wars, plural, We're always talking about the one war, but there's actually always a bunch of them going on. These wars going on, There's like all this rancid violence against the queer community we're going to talk more about. Black people are still being murdered for being black people, That's what's literally filled the news. There was an insurrection led by the former president. Never forget that. It's just a lot of bad news. And these people are so triggered that somebody actually wants to be like Jesus. They're like, what would Jesus do if he's a rich guy? I don't know. He'd probably I don't know, help 1,000 blind people see. And they hate it. They hate it.
Pressure.
Everything looks so more clear.
Yeah. To make this day even more special, since you're about to graduate high school and go to college, we wanted to give you $50,000 to put towards college.
Boom. All right. Let's get you some sight and some education.
Yeah.
What an
He
asshole.
seems like a nice enough guy, and I'm not a policy guy.
I'm not a policy wonk.
I don't know. I'm just a common moron. But I don't know if this is going to be the most efficient way to handle healthcare and education. It might be. It might. I mean, it's better than nothing. Right now, those of us who have no healthcare, it's called going beast mode. It's really unnerving in this video. I mean, it is an amazing video, and it could be read as a sort of subversive thing that he's doing here. But it's really unnerving when these people cry or they start getting emotional because you're like, wow, this is a really good thing that you're doing. You help somebody, you helped a bunch of people who are dealing with this problem that really interrupts their life, But at the same time, you're like, this shouldn't be this high stakes, This should be a routine thing that you could walk in, You would never put it off because of money or anything. You walk in, get it, you're fine, But these poor people, they're like, oh, thank God.
And again, look at how it is. And Mr. Beast made this point because we were watching a little bit of coverage last night about this in Gather. And Anna Kasparian was saying this, that most doctors will tell you most blindness could be cured with an hour-long procedure or whatever they said, right? And we just don't have the societal willpower to fix this. And I find that unconscionable. We absolutely should have universal health care. The government absolutely should just be paying for this. And everyone, that's the real issue here. And I think Aaron Brown is, obviously noticing that the Young Turks had pretty much similar nobody's saying that the healthcare system can't be better. Matter of fact, this highlights the gross inadequacies of the healthcare, that we're literally just turning, no pun intended, but we're turning a blind eye to people and going, sorry, you don't have the cash, so I don't feel like restoring sight to you. And it's a real problem because as a doctor, you take a Hippocratic oath, and it's weird. It's like, as an educator, I feel this. Like I feel like part of the problem is I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I love the university. I'm a university man. I feel very privileged to be a university man, whether that's whatever college type of life that is, and I love teaching students and interacting with them. But it's really important that we bring our shit out into the real world too. Because we shouldn't want there to be this super expensive gatekeeping where like, oh, sorry, like you don't have the resources to interrupt your life for 4 years and pay to get a college education. Like, sorry. That's too bad, So, yeah, the government should be doing this, but it's not. And so, yeah, shame on the government for not doing this, but I'm not putting any shame on Mr. Beast for doing it.
Thank God a YouTuber helped, because otherwise I'm just kind of left twisting in the wind. The other reason I think this is an inefficient approach to healthcare, going beast mode, is because of the fact of that time, because of time, How are you going to pay for all these surgeries and stuff when you're trying to survive 50 hours in Antarctica, trying to hydraulic press a Lamborghini? Oh, that seems like a waste of a Lamborghini. Okay. Mr. Beast cannot get enough of this last to take your hand off thing.
I spent $2.5 million on this private jet and had 11 YouTubers put their hands on it. Whoever keeps their hand on the longest wins the private jet.
Is there something in Mr. Beast's origin story where like somebody took their hand off a thing and something terrible happened? And ever since, he's been, don't take your hand off, Yeah, but the amazing and brilliant point that I was making.
Yeah, gang, subscribe to Arm Brown if you're not already. We like to Arm Brown and chill around here. It's really one of my things, and big fan. Big fan. Look, Mr. Beast is interesting, right? This is the television game. That's what television is you spend a redonkulous amount of money on making a show, and it's worth it because you bring in more money, right? It's called profit. Also, Mr. Beast is like a second channel where like all the proceeds go to charity. So I don't know, like. Dude's a celebrity YouTube philanthropist. I mean, we could deconstruct the model a whole lot, but I mean, it's like you could say the same thing about literally any show or any sports presentation. I mean, we're all going to tune into the Super Bowl. Look at, or a lot of us think about all the crazy excess expense that goes into the Super Bowl that has nothing to do with, deciding who's the winner of the game to determine who the football champion is. It doesn't. It's just what it is. So that's how people look at it. It's like if I can make $4 million making a video about crushing a $3 million jet, ish, right? Then we're gonna say, cool, that was an amazing video where we made $1 million, and the cost of making that $1 million was crushing a $3 million jet. Fortunately, we made enough money off of it that we turned a profit. Do I think it's insane that this is where we're at? Yeah, it's crazy, but it's perfectly understandable. It's just run-of-the-mill capitalism.
Is of that, there's just not enough time, Mr. Beast. You type, hey, I'm blind. Someone's helping me again. And he's like, I'm too busy staying in a circle until everyone else leaves the circle, and then I get a briefcase full of money or whatever. I'm too busy spending 50 hours buried alive. He's like, oh man, I'd love to help, but I'm busy surviving a plane crash. How did he survive a plane? How did he survive a plane crash? I gotta click on this to learn more.
Yeah, but people are fighting. They're going back and forth.
On social media, which is what it's for. That's what it's for. You have a good time. You tell somebody you're an idiot. It's nice.
It's nice. It's how we like to spend our time when we're in the bathroom. Little ass.
But people are trying to figure it out. It's pretty simple. This guy's a wacky YouTuber that children watch, and he makes a bunch of money from this, and he does all kind of wacky crap. And he did something nice for a small number of people that exposed the demonic and demented nature of our healthcare system. So that's okay. Oh, sorry, and education system. But people are going back and forth. They're giving each other a hard time. Again, which is the fun of the internet. Shut your mouth, you idiot. Here's a good one. As a doctor, showing off.
I am calling bluff.
Right. As a doctor, I'm also conflicted. He genuinely does good, but I don't agree with people having to have their experience accessing basic medical care monetized for views. Okay. We need universal access to healthcare like most other industrialized countries. Okay, it's a pretty fair take, not too much to disagree with there, but there's some pretty funny replies in here. Please shut up.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, again, that's the beauty of the online, most of our life, we wish we could just tell people to shut up. Your doctor comes in, he's like, let me take your blood pressure. You're like, shut up. I'm a doctor, and I think that we should have universal health care. Shut up. It's like, okay. Not shut up again. The other day, my doctor was like, you're a little heavier than you should be. And I'm like, well, you're a little less shut up than you should be. This is another interesting response to that same doctor. Where do you think he got the money to help them in the first place? His videos are what makes him money. If he doesn't make the video, he doesn't get paid. If he doesn't get paid, he can't help people. It's funny because most people, I watched a video of a guy who's in the UK, and he was talking about this. He's just like, I can't really understand. Seems bad.
I also don't understand how people don't get this, man. This is like, the best thing Mr. Beast has ever done. Ever. This is literally approaching Jesus levels of epicness. Dude's whole channel is somehow ridiculously rich dude or ridiculously well-sponsored dude does crazy, insane shit nobody else can think of, right? Literally, dude will be like, we're giving you 10 minutes here at this Target to spend $250,000. Go, and people just do it. So that's just what the channel is. And of course, like I said, dude has become one of the biggest content creators out there. Now, to be quite honest, I don't ever watch dude stuff because I find that it just doesn't really do anything for me. Like, I just don't care. But this is one of those things where, like, again, if I burn $3 million, but I make $4 million because that many people will watch me burn them $3 million, then y'all, literally, if somebody told me this, I would burn $3 million right the fuck now. Are you serious? I'd literally just be like, what do y'all want me? Y'all want me to dress it up? Do I put it in a container? Like, how do I light it with gasoline? Like, are we just gonna drop a match in there? And is there a way to slow burn it? Should we, can we treat it chemically so that we retard the burning, so that we get like a longer stream out of burning it? Can I invite James Apperson and, Gin and Truth and the rest of the crew on so that they can do reviews and panel discussions to break down the burning, right? It's a clearly an obvious business decision. Bro, piss all over $5 million if you can make $6 million in the process. What seems to be the problem? But on top of that, dude restored sight to 1,000 people. Listen, fuck faces. Let me be very clear. I'm really glad you guys enjoy the fucking community here on YouTube and making friends and being a part of each other's lives day in and day out. But let me make something very clear. If I restored sight to 1,000 people, I'm officially in the Good Guy Hall of Fame, and I'm done. I think at that point I'd feel satisfied just sitting back and anytime somebody challenges, excuse you, how many people that you don't know have you restored sight to? Huh? You ain't heard about me? Man, fuck Jesus. I gave 1,000 people their sight back. Huh? What? Huh? What did you do? What'd you do? Send $5, $10 to your local congressman? What? Did you drop a 20 in the little red, Salvation Army thing? Huh? What? Did you volunteer a weekend at the soup kitchen? Huh? What the fuck did you do? Did you adopt a puppy? Nigga, I gave 1,000 people their sight back. Please go fuck yourself. Okay? And then on top of that, Mr. Beast, like I said, he's one of the biggest content creators out here on the platform. Do you know what it's really hard to do at that level of success on the platform, y'all? Grow on the platform. Right? Like when you're one of the top 1% of YouTubers, it's pretty hard to do something that's going to substantively like take you up a notch, right? That's going to like give you some next level exposure. You can't exactly call up like Aaron Raw or Matt Dillahunt team, but hey, can you give me some airtime? I could really use the push. It's pretty hard for Mr. Beast to do things at this level that, you know what I'm saying? Get his name out there in a qualitatively different way. And this did it. He broke the internet. People are talking about it on TV. People are talking about it on all the other big channels. People are talking, it's like he made this is a major, apparently international news story, right? So, I mean, this is how business is supposed to work. This is why the left eats itself. This is the left eating itself. I don't know that he's a leftist, but this is a lefty type of thing to do, right? It's very socialist type of shit. And this is what I mean about the people who are supposed to be on that tip eating it. Yes, we all want universal fucking health care. And like I said, this should just serve to highlight how much we need it. But the fact that we need universal health care does not mean we should not be doing everything we can actually do for one another in the interim. And I gotta also explain something to y'all. I'm not with that either. Like, I absolutely want the government to do everything it can for people. And by that, I mean, what should the government be doing for people? Everything it can be doing. within its means. I'm not against a government program that ensures that national minimum wage, free healthcare, free education, literally a government food service that just fucking, ensures that people have fresh access to fresh food and all of that shit. I'm with all of that. All of it, y'all. What the fuck? If you make money, you still do what you do. You're still gonna rent your place so you can live where you want to live. You're still gonna go to the grocery store to get the fuck you want to eat, so you can eat what the fuck you want to eat. What the fuck problem you got with the government making sure nobody starves? Shut the fuck up. It's ridiculous. I don't even want to talk about it. Stupid shit. Some capitalist, right-wing, trickle-down fucking myth nonsense. Okay? But I don't want to live in a world where my neighbor doesn't want to do anything for me. My friend doesn't want to do anything for me. My coworkers don't want to do anything for me because everybody just puts everything on the government. Well, the government should give us free healthcare, so fuck it. I'm not gonna give you a Band-Aid. Oh, well, I really think the government should make sure nobody starves, so I'm not gonna feed you. Yeah, well, I know I'm an educator, and I do really think that, everybody should have access to a 4-year institution. But hey, if you genuinely want to learn about evolution and you want me to teach you a little something about it, I'm not going to give you any resources. I'm going to tell you, go fuck yourself. Because look, I'm not a bad person. I think the government should do it. But since I think the government should do it, I'm not going to do it for you. Right? Like, who the fuck wants to live in that world? No, the government is just an extension of the people, right? The government, democracy is supposed to be ruled by the people. So the government is supposed to reflect our values, reflect what we want. They're an extension of us. So when we say the government should do this or that, we're not obfuscating our social obligations to each other. We're just saying the government is supposed to be reflecting our commitment to our social obligations to each other such that it can ensure a basic level of support and assistance that we can't individually do because we don't individually have the means to do that, right? If my neighbor knocks on my door and says, "Yo, Jay, I fell upon hard times. I think if I could get a new employment situation in the next week or so, I could be good to go and I could save the house. We're just a little light on food right now. All right, man, here's a couple of bills. I ain't balling or rolling like that, but I damn sure got enough to not let my neighbor starve. Boom, here's a couple of bills. Go get y'all some groceries, right? What we're saying with the government is I can't do that for everybody in the state of Michigan. I can't do that for motherfuckers that are in Alabama or California. You know what I'm saying? So I want the government to make sure that everybody gets that, irrespective of whether or not you have a social support system. But that does not mean that we should not still feel compelled to help each other. When you start talking like that, you're really in danger of, to me, undermining our humanity. We don't want to be so cold to each other that we just don't see each other, and life just becomes this weird shit where you have your micro life and then anything outside of that you get from the gut. No, that's some dystopian weird shit to me. So we got to do this for everything. We got to do this for everything. It's the same thing when people give away scholarships. They give away, angel funding or whatever for businesses. Usually they be trying to, get money back and shit. But a lot of times people don't. They be like, yo, man, I want to, just seed some small businesses in the community, get some grant programs out there, help people get started. Like, we need all that shit, man. And I don't know. People got to be careful with your commentary about these things.
Not be able to get medical care.
And I have a friend who I was talking about this who lives outside the United States. And they really, people who don't live in this kind of healthcare system they're kind of like their brains literally, it's almost like they can't see it. They're like, I can't
I agree,
grasp.
Ken.
So you just don't have to. You have to pay for it. But this guy is like the opposite. He's like, no, of course. This YouTuber has to make a lot of money, so of that he can pay for healthcare for people. What? How do you not get it, man? How do you not get how this system works? It's a YouTuber-based healthcare system. Yeah, so I guess, Mr. Beast, his heart is in the right place. If you want to have anger, direct that anger toward it's absolutely satanic healthcare system.
Exactly.
Direct it toward that, you know what I mean? But I do think if people on Twitter really wanted to get pissed off at a YouTuber for doing his version of healthcare, who I think would be good at this, about really pissing people off, is the FaZe guys, FaZe Rug. Today?
Also, y'all, come on, man. Go find an anti-vaxxer. I mean that seriously. I mean that very seriously. If you need something to be outraged about today, please shut the fuck up at your rage at somebody for restoring sight to 1,000 people. Go find an anti-vaxxer to go off on. Go find one of these anti-queer hate motherfuckers. Go find them motherfuckers that are trying to tell women that their children hate them. Right? There's literally content creators that are so misogynistic, they're trying to tell women that their children hate them. Right? Go fucking be pissed at one of these insurrectionist apologists. People sitting here raging at somebody for fucking restoring sight to the blind. I wish a motherfucker would.
I'm gonna be pulling the ultimate prank on my brother. Y'all thought the cocaine prank was lit? Wait till you see what I have up my...
The cocaine prank was really lit.
Y'all thought the cocaine prank was lit?
Because I guarantee when FaZe Rug starts doing this, giving out healthcare, he's gonna be like, hey guys, I'm here on an overpass. I'm here on a freeway overpass, and I'm throwing down a wheelchair. Yeah, I have to say, too, Mr. Beast and FaZe guys and all these people, their thumbnails are truly works of art. I mean, is there one guy? Because they all have this bizarre vibe to them. Motherfuckers underground? Oh, shit. Okay, I forgot this reply. I gotta read this one. It's from that same doctor. The doctor who's like, we need universal access to healthcare like most other industrialized countries. People should have to go on video to get their eyes fixed. If my life was ever in your hands, I'd be terrified. This guy probably sucks as a doctor, based on this tweet. This guy's probably a pendejo of a doctor. That's kind of nice, actually. Some doctor on Twitter who tweets for some reason. He barely criticizes the YouTuber this kid likes. And you're a kid who tweets, and you go, if my life was ever in your hands, I'd be terrified. Because you mildly criticize the YouTuber that I love. It's also, I think...
But I actually think this is a good point. And again, I guess that if my life was in your hand, I'd be terrified. That's just a weird thing to say, especially to a doctor. But he's making a valid point. Why go after Jimmy when the real problem is with the American government? They're the ones who decide if we get free healthcare. Jimmy films everything as well so he can help even more people. How is this hard to understand?
Who mildly criticize the YouTuber that I love. It's also, I think this is really sweet in a weird way to be like a stan, to be a Mr. Beast, a hardcore Mr. Beast defender, Because I was watching some of his videos earlier, and as an adult, you watch that, you're literally he's eating the world's tiniest pizza. But I guess if you're a kid, you're like, he's doing very important work.
He's doing very important work.
When he spent 30 days on a deserted island to see if he could survive with his friends, his bros. Okay, guys, we have a pretty terrible update on my Mr. Beast style competition. No one else showed up to touch the car. So I was just touching the car. And so I guess well, there we go, guys. A beautiful and gorgeous video about the great Mr. Beast. What's this? I bought the world's largest mystery box. $500,000. You know what? I did kind of start watching these while I was recording this. I was like, maybe I can make fun of this. And then I'm just like, he's good. He's good at what he does. Should he be handling the major institutions of American society? you know, yes, maybe no, who knows? Who knows? There's only one way. That's to give him a chance. If anybody watching this needs a $1,200 Toyota Camry from the 90s, maybe I can buy it and we could just like drive it into a ditch together or something. That could be good content.
That could be good
right?
content.
Little ask. Well, anyway, guys, I think we did what we gotta do here, and it's completed, and we've completed the mission.
Love you guys, and bye-bye.
You did it for the views. All right, gang. Also, I found what looks to be a couple of cool Scrabble apps, and so we'll test them out and see if they integrate well in together. And I think that's a really great suggestion. So I'm looking forward to that. Again, we are in the VIP gather. It's called the Most High Suite for mods and patrons. So if you're a mod or a patron, you should have gotten information from me about how to log in here. So please come join us in here for the rest of the day. I've got some work to do for my class and teaching, and so still got a few more hours in my work day that will be in here. And then we will probably, I'll probably head to the guest room, because tonight's show, I think, is going to be, number one, we got to do Hunter Biden's laptops. And I'm thinking about doing some stuff. Well, I don't want to give it away. Tune in tonight. I think tonight we're going to do a good show. But maybe we'll do that from the cafe. We'll probably do that from the cafe so that people can call in. So what I'll do is we'll be in the VIP chilling, and you want to join us because we'll be watching YouTube. We watch TV, we watch YouTube. It's like an office, right? So, we're there throughout the day, watching everything, enjoying what's going on in the community together. And then we'll go to the cafe for the show once I finish working. So that'll be earlier in this evening. And then we'll kind of get back into our normal groove. So after the show, we'll probably head to the beach for tonight's overnight. But yeah, appreciate everybody for watching. I want to thank Cliff always for streaming with me. Our project's coming along, actually. Today's meeting was kind of encouraging. I think we're moving along. It sucks because we got our whole system set up and working, and everything was working so beautifully. And then we have these issues when we run on the HPCC. But I think we've got a couple of plans of attack and some contingency ideas here as well. So I think we'll be able to keep that project moving along, of course. And so stay tuned. And then also, I think on Monday, Cliff and I will probably do something fun. We'll do some counter-apologetic stuff. I'll find some creationist nonsense or whatever. All right, gang, come link up with us and gather. Otherwise, we'll see you later on tonight. In the name of the Darwin, the Dawkins, and the Christopher Hitchens, science bless you all. Poof!
Why she wanna leave me alone? Saying all I do is wrong. No rights, only been left turns. Playing her, she gotta let it burn. Saying that the house not a home. Sunshine cause she heard it all before. Sometimes she don't wanna be alone. Most times she don't want me gone. She don't know I try my all. She don't know I sprung in the sun, but I'm going in the winter, so we good to the fall. Remember how I told you I get it and I win. Now I got it, you ain't answer my call. Wonder if I've been moving too strong. Maybe I just been moving too balls. Really hate when the feeling get lost. Nowadays she just dodge my calls. In the game throwing laws like Paul. Young legend Miss John like Wall. And I wish you never met like Carl. Dick game lay it down like law. Made plans but you canceled them all. I was just trying to splurge in the mall. Now I'm home stacking bread till you call. It's time to roll. She tryna slide. We smoking Zah. Stop acting shy. Cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by my side, girl. It's time to roll. She tryna ride. We smoking. Stop acting shy, cause you a demon when I get between your thighs, girl. You like my rib, you know I need you by my side, girl.
Be smoking that side.